Welcome to Kissing Books Critique. We're Heather Ryder, Jenna McCall, and Vicky Hilton, three fearless indie romance authors, and we're peeling back the curtain to invite you into our critique sessions. As avid storytellers, we'll dive into the treacherous pitfalls of filters, vague language, confused sentences, and steamy clinches that leave something to be desired. While we won't dwell on commas or copy editing, we believe you'll find inspiration to enhance your own writing. So, get ready to settle in as we playfully dissect each other's work, sharing laughs and inside jokes along the way, on our quest to become better writers and to learn the secrets of an irresistible kissing book.
Good morning, friends, and evening for Vicky. Jenna and I are in the United States, and Vicky's on the other side of the world.
Hey! Good evening.
Good morning. I think I might survive the morning. I have almost a full cup of dirty chai in me, so I think I might survive this morning, this early Saturday morning.
I'm just excited because usually it's me that's very early and I feel very bleary-eyed and croaky-throated, so I should be full of energy for you this evening, I hope, with a full glass of red on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we've switched it up a little bit this time, with us being in the morning and Vicky being in the afternoon, or evening rather. So today I am going first, and we are reading the first chapter from a new book I'm writing. These will be Joel and Arya are our main characters, and we don't have a title at this time. And Vicky is going to read, and then we'll hear comments from Jenna and Vicky. And I will be right here very open and willing to take the criticism.
No!
Love it.
No.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to start.
Onward.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Onward. Chapter 1, Arya. You'll never understand unless you have kids. I stare at my mum, hair perfectly coiffed, makeup immaculate, trousers pressed and silk blouse shimmering. I pinch my lips together as I fight back tears. I sure as shit hope that when I do have kids, I understand them better than she understands me. I bend and grab my oversized camera bag. My first client is in less than an hour. I don't have time to fight with her. I don't have time for a breakdown. Okay, we got a few comments in that first paragraph. Just want it noted at the start. When the description of the mum, we both highlighted that as we loved the way you described the mum there. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yay, I actually rewrote that so many times, so it makes me feel better.
It is good. I have a couple of comments. I'll just lump all mine together. So to start out, when I read the paragraph, it starts with, I stare at my mom, and then I pinch my lips. I sure as shit hope. And then there's a part where it says, I understand. And then it's I bend and grab. And then we have a sentence that says, my client. And then we have, I don't have time. So there's 6 sentences there, and 5 of them start with I. And that distracted me in that cadence. Like, you set up a pattern there.
Mm-hmm.
To get it all out of the way, because I comment on this elsewhere in the book too, but I'll just say it now. Like, you've done it repeatedly through the entire piece, where you have a lot of similar sentence structure, and it's not good. You don't want to have such close sentence structure, because one, you can put your reader to sleep because you're getting into like this pattern, it's this repetition. And then a lot of times there's just more interesting ways that you can say something. And I think that you're on the verge of using filters and a lot of telling. And I'm going hard right at the beginning just to kind of get this out of the way, because I have seen it in multiple places and I don't want to like say every time that I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it at the beginning. I might say it again at the end because I'm mean and evil. But yeah, just be really conscious, like going forward, see if you don't notice.
Yeah, I do notice. And I remember when I wrote it, I kept, I guess, being afraid of doing, I can't think of what it's called. I'm about to out myself here. But you know how when it's like my eyes looked at this instead of I looked at this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to avoid. And that's why it says I so freaking many times throughout.
I think it's really interesting because I feel like you're going for a deeper point of view here than your previous book had. And I really am jiving with that because I like it. It feels more like stream of consciousness to a degree, but it's like guided stream of consciousness. It's like your author stream of consciousness as opposed to like character stream of consciousness. And so you're still having to tell me the character's doing this, the character's saying this, and the character's pinching their, bending over and grabbing when just have them bend over and grab. I don't know how to say that. It's not exactly a filter, but it feels like a filter because it still feels like it's filtered through the author instead of just like going for it. But the flavor of the whole thing feels deeper point of view overall, which got me excited, as you can imagine. So I was happy, and I think it's great. I think it's good. I just think it can be like refined.
Right, I do agree, and I didn't even notice on that first paragraph specifically. It does. She pinches her lips, and it's I pinch, I shore, I understand, I bend, I don't, I don't. Right together.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have like a compound sentence, so it makes it look like it's 7 sentences, but that start that way. But there's only 6, or there's 6 sentences, and 5 of them start the same way, which I thought that's a lot. And I didn't go into other paragraphs and count or anything. I'm like not quite that anal retentive, but
thank you.
But yeah, it's pretty strong and it's pretty prevalent. So I would just look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just had comment on the sentence that starts with, I bend and grab my oversized camera bag. I don't think we need I don't think you need the I bend and the grab. I feel like you can.
We know she's bending when she
just
picks it up.
go with something. And the cheat way would be bending over. I grab my oversized camera bag, but then you're starting with I forgot what those are called.
A gerund.
Yeah, that. There's better ways to do it than that. But that's like what my brain wanted. So,
yeah.
And then Vicky had a comment, and I had a opposing view.
It wasn't
which I found happening a few times in this. I felt contradictory, I guess. I don't know.
That's okay. You're allowed. It wasn't more of a comment. It was more of I think I started my comment just interested rather than it wasn't a criticism of anything.
This was on the breakdown.
Yeah, it says, I don't have time to fight with her. I don't have time for a breakdown. And I was just being nosy. I said, who is going to break down? Is it the mum or is it Aria? I just was being nosy. That was all. And then breakdown is quite a step up from fight, I thought. So I just wanted to get a flavor.
I had a different take on it.
Yeah. Well, what was your take, Jenna?
I went with the premise of like that Arya has been in this situation before, and so she knows that the way this works is I'm going to have a fight with my mom, and then I'm going to have a breakdown because I had to have another fight with my mom. That kind of thing. Like she's just been here, done that, got the T-shirt kind of feeling. So like that's why she went right to breakdown as more of like this is the sequence of events that happens when this happens, as opposed to equating fight and breakdown. If that makes sense. That's just how I took it.
Yes.
But
that was how it was meant.
I got an A on the test.
Yes.
She doesn't say anything as I turn my back and walk out of the kitchen. Honestly, why did I expect anything to change when I live with my parents? Oh yeah, I thought a 4-year stint in college and a bachelor's degree would make her see me different. Nope, apparently I still need to be told when to eat, sleep, and work. Okay, more commenting. Jenna, you start.
Okay, on the first part where it says she doesn't say anything, I wanted to know if you could be a little more descriptive. Like, is she staring back at Arya? Is she ignoring her? What's the mother's demeanor? What emotions is she exuding or temperament? It feels like a very one-sided right now. I don't know what Arya is getting. Arya has hinted that this is a situation that she's run into before, so I think she's kind of glossing over the fact or the letting me know like what the situation is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because she's familiar with it, but the reader's not.
Right. So I wanted to know, like, is she stiff? Is she ignoring? Is she being condescending? Like, what's the attitude that's there? And then on the, again, this is me being contradictory. So on the line that says, nope, apparently I still need to be told when to eat, sleep, and work. That is a lovely line. Vicky highlighted the line.
I liked it.
That she likes the line. And as itself, I do like the line as well, too. It's nice. It shows some attitude. And so then that shows character, which I like. However, it doesn't fit with the information I've been given as of yet. Because as of yet, the information I've been given is you'll never understand unless you have kids, and that this is an argumentative point between them, a point of contention. I don't see anything about where to eat, sleep, work. I know it's been a little bit inferred because you have this line about I thought a 4-year stint would make them see me differently, but apparently not. But it's just still inferred,
Right.
and it doesn't fit for me. Like, it didn't work for me.
Okay.
I think just going back to where she doesn't say anything, if you could demonstrate that instead of telling me that she doesn't say anything, if you demonstrate it, I think that you could demonstrate it in a way that then ties in with apparently I need to be told, like maybe she's eyeing, maybe Arya has clothes or keys in her hand, or she's doing something like indicating that she's not going to be eating, because that's later. There's conversation about her not eating, so like maybe there's something and her mom can be like eyeing it, and she knows what that her eye in that means. Like Arya knows why she's eyeing it. She's thinking I need to eat, and now I'm not, apparently I need to be told when to sleep and eat. That line. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yes, I think it cheated a little bit because I have so she leaves the house and then while she's
and
driving,
then she has a
has
flashback. I have comments
right.
about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear your opinion. So she kicked me out when I tried to look ahead at the work. She was like, no, you're not looking at it.
Yes, get out. But so that's my comments here. Oh, and then I just said on different, I think that has to be differently. I think if it was dialogue, she can speak that way. And it's interesting because there's this line, I'm going to ramble a little bit here, but there's this interesting because you are going deeper point of view, which is more direct thought in the narrative without having italics or anything. It's just like the narrative is her thinking, which is awesome, which is definitely what you have here. It's like what I was calling stream of consciousness, but it's like this, like I said earlier, it's like almost author-y stream of consciousness more. So I think it needs tweaking, but I love that you're doing this. I have to say, I just love this, but that's where it's like, I'm not quite sure, because if it was deeper, more clearly the character's stream of consciousness as opposed to the author's, then she can speak with idiosyncrasy, like she can be like, I say different, not differently, like that would fit that character. Like the examples would be like when I have my Southern, if I have like a Wyatt or a Southern character and they're set my hair to doing this, or set, how I've been using that a lot at some point. So that would be like, it's not really appropriate grammar or what have you, but it fits my Southern country character. So this might fit her, might fit how Arya speaks, but you've got to I feel like it needs to, the whole I thought a 4-year stint makes it not deep point of view, even though we don't think the sentence in our head, I thought a 4-year stint, necessarily. Like we might, because that's kind of snark. So we kind of do think snark like that. Am I making any sense? I feel like I'm floundering here.
I'm no deep POV expert, but I know when saying I thought a 4-year stint, you wouldn't think that. You'd think obviously a 4-year stint in college. It just depends on how you talk as well. And I think
that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, yes, if that's how she talks, then she can say it there. Like she can say different instead of differently there, if that's how she talks, because we're in her head and she's going to think the way she talks. Like it's the same. Right? But it's got to be clearly that way. And I was like shifting, like, because I'm not quite with you there, because I have this it's like I have this author stream of consciousness.
Yeah, I do.
Gaze on it, or glaze. Yeah. Okay, I'm shutting up then.
So I just have a question, and I'm like trying to make sense of this in my head. Okay. So if we take out I thought, then what is so it starts a 4-year stint in college and a bachelor's degree should have made her see me differently? Like what's
like I would do it would be like you'd think, which isn't much different, but it would be like somewhat more conversationally. But this is a bad example because you might think because it's snark. It's snark. I don't know how to say it other than it's snark. So when you think snarky thoughts, you might be like, I thought a 4-year thing would get me da 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 da. you might think the I thought. That sounds so weird. But the she doesn't say anything, like maybe that. No, what's a good example? I'll have to find it.
Yeah, that one I can play around with that one.
Yeah.
Did you disagree with Jenna's last one, Vicky? I heard you saying something.
No. I was just saying I wasn't an expert on it at all. So I'm also trying to get better at writing more deep point of view as well, because I do like to read it. But it's really hard. And yeah, I just thought on that one paragraph, I didn't think that added anything at all to me.
Yeah.
That was just personal.
It's definitely a little snarky. She's like, oh yeah, I have all this stuff, and yeah, snark. Yeah,
I don't know. Didn't hit for me, but that's it.
Real quick, so you blued parents, the S on parents. Okay, let me rephrase that. So she says, honestly, why did I expect anything to change when I live with my parents? And then
it's a question.
People who were okay.
So it has a period.
I was like, what is wrong with the S on parents?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
sorry. Getting all
okay.
It's the question. Maybe rhetorical, but it's not the point.
Yeah, it's still, yeah.
Okay.
That's what that blue mark was. Reader, listener.
Yes.
There was I highlighted a period that should have been a question mark. That's all. Okay. Shall I move on?
Yes, please.
Excellent. All right, here we go. I set my camera gear in the trunk, tucking the comforter I bought for this exact reason around the bag. One can never be too careful with thousands of dollars worth of equipment. I slide behind the wheel of my sanctuary. Over the past couple of years, my Camry has been the place where I can find peace. Okay, I just had a couple on this one. Really small things, sorry. Just that tucking the comforter I bought for this exact reason around the bag. When I read it, it bothered me. It didn't bother me so much when I read it out loud, but I thought it might be a bit sticky, the sentence. There might be just too many words in the sentence to get your point across. So I wondered if you could just say tucking a comforter around the bag, because you already get the point across about it's a valuable equipment.
Thousands of dollars. Yeah.
You sort of overdoing the sentiment there, I think, and you've got more words than you probably need. And that's rich for me to say because I always do that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing was I just thought at the last sentence, over the past couple of years, my Camry has been the one place where I can find peace. I thought you just didn't really need the where. I think you'd be fine with has been the one place I can find peace. Because you're in present tense here, aren't you?
I'm what?
You're writing in present tense here, aren't you? So, yeah, that worked.
Right.
I would get rid of the can if you do. Get rid of the where. I would get rid of the can as well.
Peace. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Where the place I find peace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. God, we're amazing. What a team.
Really, what a team.
Pat on the back.
I have to say, I have a friend that uses her car like this. I don't anymore. I mean, I think there was probably a time when I did, but I have a friend that her car is her sanctuary like nobody's business. It's just so funny to me. Not funny like haha, but just like, that's like, okay, you're in your car. Hiding from like everyone. She's got a full house. So, yeah. It's
relatable.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Cute.
Onward.
Jenna, you did have a comment on that paragraph during the comforter thing, and you said storming away from her mother.
Oh. Let me see what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. Okay. So like when we read this, we're going from this conversation that she's having with her mom, and she's at her trunk. And we never got to the trunk. And so like when I read it, I was like, for this exact reason. And the reason to me was the argument with her mother. Like I didn't associate the reason with the camera in the trunk. I was still having an argument with, I'm sorry, I just had cat interference. And this is going to be related later to where we're having a flashback. So this is where I'm starting to be like, okay, what's happening? I realize that now. I didn't realize that I realized that I'm being a little confused here now by this comment, because it's quite obvious when we're talking about it here. We're talking about a camera gear in the trunk. That's a car, this is et cetera. So this is not real time, but I didn't really process that until later, and I'm like, okay, I'm very confused here now that this is a flashback. So it's interesting looking at it hindsight. I can tell that this is where I'm starting to get confused.
Okay.
This is a flashback?
Well,
yes, sort of.
this is not, but this is present tense, and then we go into her thinking about her morning.
We never move from staring at her mom, and then she turns her back and walks out of the kitchen, and then we're in the trunk. Well, we're by the trunk.
Yeah.
It's not a thriller, so we're not in the trunk.
But that's not past. It's not a flashback.
No, this part isn't, right.
Okay, yes.
So my observation would be when I read it the first time, I noticed that, Jenna, and then the second time I read it through again, I think I must have skipped that because that bothered me. I just felt we needed something in between the two. That was all, to get us from the kitchen to the trunk.
I agree with that.
Okay, yep.
But I forgot, which is just general. My bad. Okay.
Yeah, you're fired. No dirty time for you.
Bye. All right, here we go. The drive into downtown Kansas City is a blur as I think about the morning. My best comebacks always develop when I'm driving and I'm no longer in the middle of an argument. I should have told her how inappropriate her actions were and when I discovered that she moved my lenses. So I just thought that was lovely because I always do that after I've had an argument with someone. I'm just amazing when I come up, and I think most people do, come up with these awesome comebacks.
Yeah.
Fantastic one-liners, and of course in the moment you never get them out, though you never think of them. So I like that because it was nice and relatable. And there was an extra that, which probably isn't needed. Would you say, Jenna, that was your comment?
Right. Yeah. There's a couple. There was one earlier as well, but I didn't say anything about the earlier one because it's whatever. But like if this is another one, so we might want to like pick them.
I think I got hung up on that after I was going through edits on a past book, and the editor was saying that I needed to add more of that, and so I was like, wait, that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Whenever you've read that last sentence, I just have like the strongest dislike of the whole sentence.
Read the sentence. What sentence are you speaking of?
I should have told her how inappropriate her actions were when I discovered that she moved my lenses. I feel like that gives no context, and people are like, what?
Inappropriate. So there's a few sentences in here that sounded really formal, and I was surprised because then sections when it wasn't really formal.
Sorry, my dog is snoring. I feel like, yes, I agree, but I agree for different reasons that we'll get to. I don't know, like when we want to get to it.
Oh no.
I've already done a lot of pre-conversation, so I'm going to just hold my opinion.
Yeah. Keep going.
Until later.
Okay.
Because I think that's part and parcel of the other problem. Not problem, but concern I have.
Okay. All right. Now the page is flipping around.
It didn't mean to sound daunting.
It's okay. Everything's fine.
It's not blood. It's fine. It's not mine. It's fine.
It's not my blood, sweat, and tears. No.
Yeah. Did you know in Korean they have like one word that means blood, sweat, and tears, and it's so cool. Okay, sorry.
Ooh.
What is it?
Yeah,
it's interesting.
You can't say that and not tell us the word.
I can't speak it. I only can recognize it. It was on a lesson, okay? I don't remember what the word was. It was just cool. God, those put me on the spot. I've only had 101 days.
Sorry.
103 days.
Is that your Duolingo or something?
Yes.
Your Duolingo.
But I've learned now that Duolingo is apparently very bad for Korean. So I'm going to be switching. And I found this dude on TikTok that does lessons. So I might follow him. But I don't think TikTok is going to be good enough to teach me enough Korean. So I'm going to investigate other resources for language. But I still can't speak it. But I can't speak Spanish either. I have terrible accents and stuff. So
hey, at least you're learning them, though. I know one language, so yep.
I'm multilingual. I could say Auf Wiedersehen. I can say un poquito or caliente. So that's 2 languages. I could speak my English. That's 3 languages. I could say konsamada. So that's 4 languages. I only have like 1 or 2 words in each language, but I'll just brag on it. Because
might as well.
I mean, it's 1 or 2 words, right? I'm just totally being facetious right now. And Chloe just scratched my face. Oh no.
Chloe's the cat.
Anyway, onward. Chloe the cat is making her presence known. She repositioned.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Yes.
I'd stayed up late cleaning them, butterflies in my stomach, keeping from falling to sleep. My first paying client since graduating was a big deal, and I wanted to be extra prepared. Everything was laid out on the table when I finally went to bed. Just a very quick paragraph, and I think I just had a problem with I stayed up late cleaning them. I'm assuming the lenses. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jenna also said the same. Them. Oh, but you
Yeah.
were more specific about it.
Well, I said lenses can be many things, eyeglasses, camera, whatever. I would add a specific detail here instead of the them so you can further cement for the reader what the treasure or what she treasures and the weight of her mom's actions. Because like earlier the line that you had that you didn't like that talks about her inappropriate actions, the mother's inappropriate actions towards the lenses, they lack context, as you say. And here's your chance to give them context in the very
Yes.
next line, which is perfectly fine. So that's why I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went through and like was trying not to say camera too many times and like switching
Yeah.
between lenses and camera and accessories.
It can be like for her starting out, it's more than like the objects, it's like the profession and her professional life. So it like represents more than just this object that takes pictures. You can be like, the photography was this. And if she is passionate about it, then she's going to see it as something bigger too. And so it's like an art form. You have lots of places to draw where you can avoid saying camera. Like you can be like, I can't. Look, one cup of coffee is not going to do me to be creative. But you can be like, I stayed up late cleaning the lenses. I can't be creative. But like, you just give it the
I don't
weight.
like this either way. It's just it feels like that we're having a conversation that nobody understands.
Right.
So I'll definitely be going over this again.
Because it relates here. So I had an issue with Arya pretty much through the whole chapter. I didn't feel sympathetic towards Arya. I think it was a lot. I think I'm feeling like Vicky was feeling about Bo. I don't know. I'm guessing because I'm not in Vicky's head, but like I
Yeah.
feel like that's how I'm feeling. She's not an asshole like Bo was, but I am not sympathetic, and I am actually sympathetic to the mom. And I don't think that's really how you want me to feel. This is a place where if you give this weight and you make it clear to me that this is a young woman embarking on a career that she is passionate about. And so these lenses, it's not like she just moved these silly tools to a new place. It's like she risked her future, like be really dramatic because like it's really a big deal to her. You know what I mean? It's like I would so not end it at the lenses were important. Like, no, I would just like blow it out of proportion just so that like, okay, so now this is a big deal to my girl. So now we understand why she got reactionary to something that her mother did. Like, I don't know. I think that all goes together. In my head, it all goes together. And it's like, this is just one of those places where you tie that all in, where you missed an opportunity to make it a big, like to really drive home to the reader that this is a big deal. And this is why it's a big deal. And this is why you should be sympathetic for Arya and not the mom.
Right. Okay.
God, I'm so talky today. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm
God.
just sitting back.
I'm like, I got like 400 words to say what could be said in 2 words. I don't even know.
We like you because you talk a lot.
Yeah. Let me just make sure. Do I have anything else I was just... Oh, okay. So I said, this is the same thing, but I'll just say it again. It's another opportunity. So what you wrote was, everything was laid out on the table when I finally went to bed. And I'm like, that means nothing to me. There's no emotion to that. There's no connotation to any of the words. So I don't know how to take that. It's like a robot could say that, right? Give me, like, this is my first photography client, my lenses and my gear, everything important was laid out. You're not going to say it like that because that sounds terrible and awkward, but like, that's what you're talking about. Like
The
everything
emphasis is missing.
the specifics, the details, and
The
why
process.
it made sense for her to lay it all out and not pack it up ahead of time like most people do when they're going to go somewhere. But that's okay. Arya's her own kind of person, and that's how she does things. That's fine. But I needed explain.
Just throwing it out there, I think it's interesting that you don't like her yet because I'm kind of having her in a, I don't want to say that she's a bad person, but I'm trying to like start her off in like not a good place.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I've done that, but also, I want somebody who's reading this first chapter to be willing to keep reading about her. I don't want it to be like, what is this bitch doing?
And I think the way we do that is we have little pieces. So for me, like, she makes mistakes through the chapter. She maybe has reactions that we wouldn't really sympathize with. But I think if we see that, like, this is important to her, and we may not always agree with how she handles it, but we see and can sympathize that it doesn't really matter how she handled it because we just understand that it's important to her. So it's sort of like your friend that's like obsessed with caterpillars. You have no use for caterpillars, but your friend loves caterpillars. So you're like, go with it. Like, whatever. Okay. It's lovely caterpillar, whatever, whatever. Like, random or analogy.
Very random analogy there.
Like, just, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I think if they have like that one small thing that we can hold on to and glom onto to, I don't remember what it was for Bo, but I believe that that's one of those things that Vicky said to me right in the very beginning.
Yeah. It took a while for it to come with
It was Vicky or Katie. Yeah. And it was like, this makes him sympathetic, and I understand that he's angry and not mean.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So we need to know she's not a child and stupid. Not stupid. I'm being flippant with words, but we need to know she's not this irresponsible or any of these things. She's just passionate and focused.
Yeah.
And maybe she needs to improve onto these things so she has room to grow as a character, like context Bo learning to control his anger, so on and so forth. Again, 400 words.
Again, I'm going on.
You have a comment in there as well.
Okay.
Oh, me, it was just a very quick one. I felt there was a missing word in the second section, second clause in the first sentence. I stayed up late cleaning them, butterflies in my stomach, keeping me from falling to sleep.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's just a little, one of those annoying little comments that I tend to make. Doesn't mean much, but just would make the difference. All right, I'm moving on. Next paragraph. When I walked into the kitchen at 8 this morning, confidence colored my footsteps. I was going to kick my first client in the butt and leave them smiling. That is, until I saw the empty dining room table. All my equipment was gone. After a little searching, I found my camera and lenses piled on one of the chairs. Okay, that was really badly written for a start. Sorry about that. But I had a couple of comments about that paragraph. The first one, I think Jenna and I actually probably disagreed on here a little bit. The first one was when you use the term confidence colored my footsteps. Now, I liked that, but I also thought you were kind of telling me in a kind of a way as well. And I wondered if instead of saying confidence colored my foot, using the word confidence, you could even just describe the sound of her footsteps. She can hear them, obviously, to get that across. But that's not everyone's. I love the phrase confidence colored my footsteps. But again, I don't know. I felt it was a tell. And Jenna's like, no, I like it.
I did not say it like that. What I said, though, was
I like it.
I like it. And then I'm like, I'm very contradictory today because we kind of are more in sync. But for whatever reason, I was very contradictory with my comments. But I did say, I see where Vicky is right. Like, she's not wrong. It's definitely a telling sort of thing, but it's like one of those really pretty ones. And I think that the reason it jumps out more, or I'm guessing, is because there's a lot of telling in this section. And so more telling is telling. My comment to it is that if you eliminate telling in other places, you can afford to have these little pretty telling moments.
Okay.
Like turn a phrase that are still telling, but they're pretty.
That is pretty.
You can have them if you get rid of it in other places because they don't jump out then, right? Because
it's not thing you see
it's
a
like
lot.
the scale starts tipping, and so all of them become more and more obvious when you go. If that's just an overall feel, like, and that's how I do feel like it's an overall feel. Do I have anything else in?
I think it's me.
Oh,
Maybe.
I think I just piled on. Oh, I'll just add on. So at the end of this paragraph, it says, all my equipment was gone. After a little searching, I found my camera and lens piled on the chair. It's complete telling. I said, see, you could have colored confidence if you lost more of this sort of writing. And I was like, after a little searching, what does that mean? Where did she search? Did she pull out a chair? Was the chair out? And she found it right away. And I don't know what you're going for here. I think you were just trying to move the scene along.
For sure.
I would do it differently. That's me, though, right?
Definitely.
It's your piece. You do it the way you want to do it. If that suits you, then you do that. But that line did nothing for me. I feel like I would put some emotion in it. I would have some urgency. Again, this would be me building on the focus of the passion of her
For
photography
sure.
business.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I would do it. I would have her heart racing. I would have her fingers shaking. Whatever tells you want to try to use to illustrate this urgency. That's how I would handle that in that section. And then I would get to keep my colored confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm ready, Vicky.
I think that's very valid. I think, at this point, if she's having a panic, she's like, where the hell is it? You're definitely going to have a reaction of some sort, and we'd love to know about it. And the other thing I just thought with this one was I was going to kick my first client in the butt and leave them smiling. And I was like, I just think the way that was written felt like it was a real juxtaposition, like the kick my first client in the butt is quite negative and leave them smiling is really positive. And I just thought the two of those sliced together like that didn't really work for me. But then I thought all you'd need to do is just say, I was going to kick butt and leave my first ever client. Because I think that's what you actually meant.
Yeah. My goal for Ari is to make her a little awkward and she'll say these things like wrong. That was the intent.
I would totally leave that alone.
Okay.
Leave that alone. I love that. I love that idea.
Okay.
I think somewhere can you make it really, really clear?
Right.
Have her in this exchange with her mother, because you can escalate her frustration with her mother. Like when I'm getting ahead, but have a comment with her mother and be like, have her say something wrong backwards. And have her mother like be all condescending and be like, do you mean, and say it properly.
Yes, I love that.
And then that showcases two things.
Yeah.
I like when words do work, multiple purposes. So you'd be highlighting the relationship with the mother is not so great. And two, that this is a trend that Aria does. And so then when we read this, we don't be like, what the fuck is this writer trying to say with this? We understand this is Aria, and Aria is a fruitcake.
Yeah, Jill's gonna find it charming, and her mom's gonna be like, "Are you even my child?
Are you even my child?" Yeah, I love it. Okay.
Mum hadn't left for work yet when I called out to her. Who moved my stuff off the table? And I'm going to stop there because there's a couple of comments from Jenna.
Mom hadn't left for work yet. Another telling. I said it's upper level telling, but it's still telling. Mom's keys still hung on the peg. I bellowed her name, or whatever you would want to say there that sounds more writerly or more like what Heather writes. But yeah, it's a telling. You're telling me. And then Vicky, you have something at the end.
I just realized I was just reading it and I was thinking, it was from your comment, to be honest, Joe, when you talk about the keys hung on the peg. I'm like, I have absolutely no idea what this room looks like, where they are. There's no setting for me. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. I know I figured, and then
not there.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good point. And I'm sorry, guys, I'll get it out apparently, but this is a good point, because when we have a scene, we have the opening, and then we're moving into the car, and then we have a flashback. We really need to be grounded, and these heavy object-based things that ground us into the scene are going to be more important. So like a setting piece, something that really grounds a person to where they are and makes it very clear for the reader, okay, we are in the kitchen, the sink is going, and now we are moving down the hallway and we're at the car and it's crisp and cold outside and what have you. Like just something,
all that stuff.
Just bits that will ground us to like, this is where we are now. Every time you change location or time or point of view, all these things you have to really reestablish, and you're moving quickly, so you have to have short ones because you're a couple paragraphs here, now we're moving on, but you still need them. You can't miss them, or you end up like Vicky and being confused.
Yeah.
I just felt like I have no idea what I'm visualizing. I know there's a chair and a table, and that's about it. So that was just an observation at that point. But you're right, it does, when you're moving a time or certainly a location, you definitely need to reset and establish where we are. Otherwise it's confusing.
sure.
And just really clear, just in case for dear listeners, we don't mean take a paragraph to say all
No.
your senses, and hit all, no, we just want something small to ground us to wherever we are, and then we're fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okie dokie. And there was a little one about who moved my stuff off the table, but I think that was more of a, what's the word I'm looking for?
I missed that.
I'm thinking there was a new paragraph started there, which didn't need to be there, which I should probably have not mentioned because shut up.
What Vicky's talking about, it says, Mom hadn't left for work yet when I called out to her. New paragraph, who moved my stuff off the table? There's actually contention on that. I'm glad you brought it up, Vicky, because there's different schools of thought. Just to be clear on your technique, this is a copy editing and this is a decision that a writer makes on how they're going to break their paragraphs up. I'm old school, so for me, the who moved my stuff off the table belongs with the previous paragraph, which was mom hadn't left for work yet when I called out to her. Her calling out, I'm assuming, is the who moved my stuff off the table.
I agree.
That's the same paragraph, so that belongs together. Other people believe that dialogue needs to be isolated. And this is more of a modern approach. I don't think it's a more correct approach. And you'll see both in published works and you'll see both from copy editors. As an author, you decide and then just be consistent. As long as you're consistent, doesn't matter, but be consistent. All right, shutting up off my soapbox now. That's like a point of contention. I've not hired editors because they would not agree with me on that. But I have a beautiful editor now who has the same mindset as me, so life is good
Been
again.
solved.
Yeah, problem solved.
Okay. So I'm carrying on. You know your father and I eat breakfast every morning at 7, she said as she entered the room. Yeah, and you usually sit at the island in the kitchen. I gesture towards Dad's favourite bath stool. Okay. We had a thing about gesture.
Comments.
Jenna, you had a comment about the word gesture, which I use all the time. So I'm going to listen to this one.
Yeah, no. Yes. So this, again, it ties into the overall picture of trying to relay a mindset for both of these people that we're dealing with, the mother and the daughter. And we're trying to build sympathy and we're trying to set a scene. So when you use a word like gesture, it's a perfectly fine word. By definition, it fits perfectly fine, but it gives me no indication of like how she gestured or the emotions that she's feeling as she gestures or her internal thoughts. It does no work. It doesn't do anything. I have a bad example because I'm going to say like she flung her hand at such and such. Now, I mean, you're not literally flinging a hand, but when you're flinging your hand or you're waving your arm in a way, that's going to have a different connotation than a gesture. Right? A gesture is neutral. It has nothing. So I'm waving my arm, there's just some urgency or emotion behind it. And from the other words that lead up, you will know if it's angry emotion or excited emotion or whatever, but we know there's emotion behind it. And that's what I'm asking for, is for, instead of I gesture toward Dad's favorite bar stool, I'm like, I flung my arm out at the bar stool. Y'all usually eat over there, something like that. And I know how to take it. And I know where Arya's head is. I get a fuller picture as opposed to I gesture. That's all.
Okay. And carrying on for that, I also had a question about, or a comment about, toward Dad's favourite bar stool, and it continues the thought that we've just had. So I asked, is the island in the dining room? Is it open plan? This seems petty, but the way it's described stopped me and made me wonder. Again, it's the setting thing. And Jenna had a suggestion, which I actually really liked. Do you want to say, Jenna, or do you want me to read it out?
I'll be succinct. I said I was just agreeing with, I had added on a comment to Vicky's with regard to toward Dad's favorite bar stool. I said, if you added more details, so like you're gesturing fling an accusing finger at the island dividing the kitchen and the dining room. You very succinctly clarified that setting.
Yeah.
I know now that this island divides these two rooms or
Mhm.
what have you. Just it's a bad example because you don't want to fling your finger. Like body parts don't act independently, or your finger to fling. Whatever. I need another coffee, I think. But but yeah, something like that. That's where I'm going. I'm trying not to talk so much. I'm
sorry. Okay, I'll move on.
Okay.
Great. Today we wanted to sit in the dining room. You should have got up if you didn't want me to move it. I lift my camera. Okay, I get it. I'm lazy or whatever. But why did you pile everything on a chair? I did not say you were lazy. Okay, I'm going to go back now. This dialogue, there's a comment about moving it. The line is, you should have got up if you didn't want me to move it. And then I said, I'm assuming she's always this contrary. If so, could we have an internal thought from Arya saying, here we go again. Why does she always have to make things so painful? Or why does she always have to pick a fight? Or something like that? Because at the moment, it sort of feels like there's just a backwards and forwards going on, and I'm not getting any emotion from her or any emotional response from her. How she's feeling with her mum nitpicking at her, or, there's nothing going on other than the fact that they're just sparring off each other. Does that make sense? Is it just me?
Yes, I like that. Yes.
Just a little bit more going on there for her. Again, also thinking I don't really know much about her. I don't feel I know anything about her at this point. And then I lift my camera. Jenna has a suggestion or a comment about that line.
It's the same as the lift is the same as the gesture. I think you could use a more specific or a more descriptive word there that indicates, does she jerk it up? Does she pick it up very delicately because, this is a treasure to, this is a piece of her future, a ticket to independence, whatever kind of mindset you're giving her on this, let that bleed into how she lifts the camera.
Much more information and characterization just instead of lifting a camera. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Mum, that's not the point. I start sorting the equipment into my custom camera bag. This one was over $1,800. I hold up my latest lens. I can't dish out that kind of money if it gets scratched. Jenna, you had a comment.
This is where I was starting to sympathize with the mother and not the daughter. My comment, what I said was, I can't dish out that kind of money if it gets scratched. And my comment is as I get that this isn't the side I'm supposed to be on, but I see no problem with what mom did. Daughter left stuff in the way, unpacked, unguarded. That's on daughter to have left her stuff laying around. I think that I have this perspective. I think if you decide to give some more insights on the daughter throughout than on Arya. I don't know why I'm saying daughter like this, but on Arya, I think that will resolve this. But at this point, this is where I was like, I'm kind of on mom's side.
Right.
Her house, her rules, her table,
Yeah, Arya's kind of supposed to be a little bit of a brat, so.
Yeah. See, I'm okay with that. Like, I actually kind of like that. It's so funny because I do like that, but I gotta have some part of her that I can see myself in, or which may be the brat, but at the same time, I feel like she's bratty with a cause, right? Like she's bratty because she's had this parent that's like not been okay. So, dear listener, later we hear that the father has been very supportive of Arya. By that comment coming out, when she says that, I realize very clearly that the mother is not supportive. And I mean, we feel that. And I think that is a really common situation for mothers and daughters to not get along, especially when they're younger. I think there's a point when a daughter becomes a woman that it becomes very contentious for a lot of mother-daughter relationships. This is real life. TMI, but I had a complete falling out with my own mother, and now she's my best friend. So it doesn't go that way, but I think there is a time. So you could really tap into readers who feel this way and have had those life experiences, but we still have to be sympathetic with the brat. We know we're being a brat. We know we're acting out, but we're doing it with reason. We're doing it because we're rebelling. We're doing it for whatever. And I want that. And I feel like that is what I'm missing. And I feel like that you'll cover if you give me like some more internals.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's really that simple.
Mm.
I don't feel like Arya is a bad person. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Right. She's not supposed to be a horrible person, but she is supposed to be imperfect,
Yes. And I think that's great. Yeah. I think so often we make like the male lead the imperfect one. So I really love that it's the female lead.
So true.
And I love a lot about this. Like I can totally see a lot in this. On a personal level, I like it. I mean, I know we're being really harsh today, and I don't want you to.
Oh, no.
The submission is awesome. Like, the submission is awesome. The start of the new book is fabulous. Do not feel like we're like bashing, because we're not. We love you and we love your writing. We just know what you're capable of as well. So, not to be condescending, that sounded really condescending. I didn't mean to sound
No, I'm smiling. It's a good thing you can't see me, though, because
my bar is set high, and so I'm gonna like make sure you at least hit that bar. Like,
yes, like that's why I keep coming back. So
okay, all
right.
Okay, I'm going to move on. You mean the one your father paid money for? Yes, exactly. Money. Sorry. What's wrong with me? Yes, exactly. Money. I don't have to replace it. That's on you for leaving it out. Okay. So I just had a thought with the sentence, yes, exactly. Money. I don't have to replace it. I just felt it felt really awkward. And when I read it there, I stumbled over it again.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if it just felt a bit muddled and could do with a bit of a reword. And I just came up with, feel free to ignore this. Yes, exactly. Money. Money I don't have if it needs replacing. Even that sounds really awkward as well. But I think Jenna also had a comment to help me out here. Dig me out the hole.
Yeah, it's the bonus. It's the bonus comma. If that comma is not there, it reads okay.
Yeah, that's
the emphasis that you put on it is nice, but it reads fine if you just money I don't have to replace it. You don't have that pause. It works fine. I would add on the line before that, it says you mean the one that your father paid money for. I would add, like, how is this said? Is this said with, she condescending? Is she?
I don't know. It needs it though, Jenna. Honestly, I took it as it was being said that way, as a bit snarky and just,
I was probably all up in my feels because I was just feeling so much that I feel like I could get more. So I was probably wanting it everywhere.
You were wanting to know if the mom was being, if the mom really was a bad person.
Yeah, because I was definitely more sympathetic with her at this point. So I'm like, you mean I'm paying for your shit too? And you're going to like be all bratty about it? And I'll do whatever I want with it, But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not.
Moving on. Onward.
How is this on? I begin to argue, but stop when I realize my words are falling on deaf ears. I turn back to my bag. No matter what I say, she won't apologize. Okay.
I know.
That's quite a lot.
No.
So begin needs to go away because we don't begin up in here. And then I'm going to skip Vicky's reel here. It says, no matter what I say, she won't apologize. And I said, I don't see how one's warranted at this point. I was totally on mom's side. I was in the other camp. And then the one that Vicky, you had.
Yeah, I said, when I realize my words are falling on deaf ears, I'm like, how does she realize this? Can you show us? Her mum isn't even looking at her, doing something totally different. Just, you need to show that you're telling me that she's just realizing that realizing I realize is also a filter. So we want to get rid of that and just show it.
And I totally did not let you, the reader, for her, it's like she's going to argue, and then it's like, I know from past experience that she's not going to listen to me, but I haven't said that. So
no, you haven't said that exactly.
You can add in your little bits of setting or something here. You're like, how is this on? And my words came to him. I let my words drop. You're going to do it differently because that's a filter. That's bad too. But you're going to let your words drift off. And then the mother's, she observes the mother fiddling at the sink or in the cabinets and what have you. And it's pointless. She's not paying attention. She doesn't care. She's not going to apologize. Same song, same church, different pew, like whatever. She's been on this road before.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Is that what you're wearing? I pause in packing to look down. I love to.
Yeah.
I pause in packing to look down at my black jeans and grey t-shirt. Yeah? I'd only spent an hour on Pinterest yesterday searching for the perfect I'm the professional, but I'm not desperate for work outfit.
Amen.
I did not highlight that.
We have all been there. I should yellow that. Yeah. Okay, so I am yellowing part of this because I liked it and I didn't yellow it. But I did want to reorder it.
Just why real quick.
Yeah.
Yellow means that we really like this section.
Yeah.
Yes.
We heart it.
We stole that from someone, I don't remember who. So thanks, past person. We appreciate
Hello,
you.
colorers.
Yes. I would switch the order of this paragraph. I would have, so it would go, is that what you're wearing? Question from mom. And then Arya's response would start with, yeah, I'd only spent an hour on Pinterest yesterday searching for the perfect, I can't read it as well as Vicky, outfit. And then I pause in packing to look down at my black jeans and gray t-shirt. Like I would put that at the end.
Okay.
I like that.
Yep, I agreed with that because I reread it that way and I thought that sounded great. So, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Mom gives me the glance. The glance that says, I raised you better than this. How dare you embarrass me?
All right.
Okay, Jenna,
I also
go.
failed to yellow that. I'm yellowing that. So this is, again, I think it will come down to you and your copy editor and just make sure that you are consistent. But my comment is on mom gives me the glance. Now, I personally handle these with a capital T, a capital G on the glance because I make it its own proper noun, its own thing.
Okay.
And you're putting the emphasis on the with italics with no capitalization. So it's the glance. And that works too. I'm pointing out that whatever you do, however you handle this sort of thing, you want to be consistent throughout so that, we know.
Yeah. Okay. I have not a single clue on that. So
well, if you're going to bring it up again, if
it's a thing, it needs to be.
If it's going to be a thing, then you need to care. But if you're not, then you don't have to care.
Okay.
That makes sense, right? Clear as mud.
Yes, it does. It's all right. Going on. What's wrong with it? I pull at my shirt as though it's grown a horrible bacterium since I put it on 30 minutes ago. Tee-hee-hee, like that.
I like that, yeah.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. She turns and opens a random cupboard, giving me her back. I grit my teeth and bend to zip up my bag. I don't have time to change clothes, and I need to leave before I lose my shit and then get kicked out for talking back to her. Sorry, that was terribly rude. But
oh my God.
Okay. On there.
Yeah, I got comments because, I'm me and this is what I do.
I'm ready. I have more armor.
I put my comment on the live. She turns and opens a random cupboard, giving me her back. I grit my teeth. Okay. So what my comment says is that I feel like we're having a lot of unnecessary directional words, which is crazy because I'm usually the queen of that.
Later.
Yes, totally. She did this. But I would get rid of some of these. She gives me her back, opening a random such and's cupboard. That's a fix, but then that's one of those things that Vicky will yell at you for.
Ooh.
I forget the name of it again. You just told me in this
literally
this section, but Garen, right?
Oh, a gerund.
Garen. But if you look at it, you have this cadence thing, and you have this everywhere. But this is another place where it really jumped out at me. You have she turns, I grit, and then she's bending, and then I need, and I don't have time. It's a lot of, I don't know what to call that, but it gets this repetition feeling. It makes the reading turn into having this cadence that's not good because you don't want to have the same pattern in all your sentences because that will make them sleepy. So vary up your sentences basically. And then my other line was, I'm not sure this was a question actually for me. I'm not sure if this is right or wrong or just an observation. I'm talking back to her. Are we talking back to our parents when we're grown? I don't know. I'm literally, I'm asking. I'm not sure if that phrasing is the way we should phrase as adults. I mean, maybe it is. And then Vicky had a contrary opinion because
talking back. Oh yeah, the talking back. I just said, but I think I've already got the gist of the fact that there's an overbearing mother, long-suffering daughter scenario going on, and some families that happens for years. And I noticed that in your previous book, Heather, there with Tyson and his family, there was a real boundary setting in the family of talking back. And And so I don't know if that's something that you're drawing on from your own personal experience, or it's just how you're visualizing the characters. But I don't think it's necessarily childish, because I also have a friend whose father is very much into it, and he would call it out absolutely, and
And he would call it like that? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say maybe somewhat due to experience. At the same time, I don't want to be focusing on that specifically. I think it's very interesting to have your feedback on that. And so, Vicky, you're saying that you're getting overbearing mother, and Jenna's getting you're being childish. Is that
right? Which I think both are accurate.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just who we have sympathy for, and I'm more sympathetic for the mother, for the overbearing mother. What does that say about me?
Well, no, it's kind of okay. It's kind of hard because she's still living with her parents. She's in her parents' home. She's not paying for these bills. She's not like paying a rent or anything.
Right.
Should she be allowed to do this thing because she's in their space, or is it like, I'm an adult, I can do what I want? I don't know. It's kind of...
I don't think there's a right or wrong for that. I think that that's an opinion that you have to decide on for yourselves. Like in real life, there's all degrees of that. You might have a friend who pays rent. From personal experience, I moved back in after having been out on my own. I moved back in with a parent for 2 years intentionally. Like I moved out when I bought my house. Like there was goal oriented. I paid no money to my parent. I didn't have any financial obligation because there was a goal in mind. So like everybody has a different relationship with their parents. So there's not a right or wrong, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so like you just have to, as the author, pick it's sort of like my derby women can wear backpacks because it's my world and I made it the way I want it to be. Pick how you want it to be in your world.
That's right. At the end of the day, it's our book, our story we're telling, so you do what you do. Hey, I just wanted to clear up the gerund thing, because it's all very, saying what is a gerund? I mean, I mentioned them twice. And so a gerund, by definition, is a verb form which functions as a noun, and you'll usually find an ing suffix on it. And why do we avoid them? Well, I think the general consensus is, and I don't know if this has changed through time as well, haven't been writing that long, the reason people tend to caution against using them is they can be confusing to the reader, apparently, but they do have their place. So don't ever think I can't use them anywhere, but there's a certain level, like with everything, there's a certain level you can get away with, or you can employ. And I think also they do add, they might be confusing, but they also, and I think this is back to, I read somewhere that they can give almost a lyrical feel to a sentence. It's fluid because it's a different, and we were talking about sentence structure earlier, not having the same sort of sentence starting in your work. Using a gerund, throwing one in there occasionally is actually quite nice. So I'm not
it's moderation, like so much. It's
an extreme moderation. Yeah. Okay. With gerunds, definitely extreme moderation, because it's not common. And if you're going to be using them a lot, it sticks out. But I certainly use them maybe probably 10% of my book, which is probably really not the best. But I think, just be aware if you are going to use them, just make sure you're not putting too many in, like adverbs.
Yeah, yes. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
No worries.
Yes, that was great.
Did you eat anything? And I think this goes back to like, how did she say that? So my comment, it looks like still wondering, but I just wanted to know Mom's tone, what's her, I said demeanor. What's her demeanor through all this? Is she interested, blasé? Is she annoyed, condescending, all the above? Yeah.
A casual throwaway sort of question. Yeah.
And Vicky has period.
I took my comment away because I realized I'd actually got the information earlier on in the story, so ignore that. I had made a comment.
I was like, she must be agreeing. It says period.
She didn't get her comment all the way out. That was all that is. That's funny.
I just realized my comment was actually redundant, so I will just sketch over that nicely and we'll move on. Okay. No, I have to leave. I'll stop and grab something when I'm done. You should eat here. Aren't you trying to save money? Mum reaches for the handle to the refrigerator. Oh, comment. Who's that? Is it me? No.
Yes, it's you.
Oh, it's not a comment, it's an observation. I just said, oh, okay, so probably an open plan kitchen dining area then answers my earlier question, which is just good.
She's like, hint, hint.
Yeah, totally. Hint, hint.
Okay, passive aggressive. No. I press a palm against my forehead. I don't have time, Mum. I'll be late if I don't leave. You should have come down and ate earlier with your father and I. She sets a carton of eggs next to the stove. Is this a comment on the eggs next to the stove? And it's me again. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not with it. It's too late. Maybe I'm better.
It's okay, yeah.
Again, it's just struck me that I don't know what's going on in the room. Again, the first thing I thought, oh, look, there's a cooker. I didn't realize what was going on in the room. And I can see the eggs in the cupboard, but that's about it. So I'll stop going on about it. Moving on. Mum, I don't understand why you care if I eat now or in a couple of hours. You're leaving for work, and I'm too anxious to eat anything. Jenna definitely had a comment here.
I'm just arguing because, I have taken sides at this point, so I was arguing. So my comment is on I don't understand why you care if I eat now or in a couple hours. And I was like, Mom said why. She says, because daughter's trying to save money. So this is why you eat, at home. So I was just arguing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We'll work on that.
Well, yeah.
I will read the next sentence and then I'll go back, I think, we've got a couple of comments on it. So the sentence is, I scrunch up my nose as I think back to her response and repeat in a snarky tone. You'll understand when you have your own kids. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I feel like it sounds so bad now. And I was just like,
no, it always sounds terrible when we're critiquing.
Yeah. And also
that's why I think people have such a fear of critiquing, because when you're in the process, it sounds like you just like nothing. But that's why we started putting the colors too, because we started putting our yellows so that we can have that little happy feeling when you see the yellow too, because we do critique so harshly, so stringently, whatever the word would be.
Oh, that's beautiful, stringently.
Some pretty...
Yes.
But my comment is because this is me, and this is where you have to, again, tell me, shut up, Jenna, because this is how I want to do it. This is what I've decided on. So just take it with a grain of salt. This is where I know that I was confused about where I was in time. And from the very beginning, the chapter opens with, you'll know when you have your own kids. There's been no commentary about what
she said,
what she's responding to,
yeah,
why the mother is saying that. And I know as an author that was a cool line for you to start with, and that's why you started with that.
Yeah.
But you have to give it some weight. That's a whole different issue, though.
Yeah.
So
I cut it off because I didn't it didn't feel like it was a strong enough reason for her to be upset. And I was like, oh, well, she'll just get to her destination before she gets that far into thinking about it, which was a bit lazy on my end. Anyway, do go on.
Not really sure about, I don't know if I understand it. That's probably, you will understand on that. But for me, we started, we were in the room, then she went to the car, then we were back in the kitchen thinking about what went on in the kitchen, and then we're back in the car, and we're flitting back and forth at least twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's necessary. I think it's waters down the impact of the whole piece. I think you should start with the argument and have her leave and have her be in the car. And when she is in the car, she's thinking about moving forward. She's no longer thinking about the mom. If she thinks about it, she thinks about her, but she doesn't recall full conversation and dialogue. You're not representing that. You're just, my damn mom. She won't cut me a break. However she's going to feel about it, whatever. She can have emotions about the mom conversation, but it's already happened. I think that's a fine place to start, because you're going to set up character. You're going to you set up stakes right away, because you see that she's got a parental figure that's not exactly supportive. And then that may not be the stakes for the whole book, but that's the stakes now. And I think we all can relate with parent-child discord. Nobody has always gotten along with their children. It's not possible.
Right.
So, there's something there. That's a good place to start. It's a reasonable and solid conflict. But I would stick in it, and then I would go to the car, and then I would go. I wouldn't have this flipping back and forth. That's what I would do if I would do this. Do I have another comment or?
I think
No,
it's
Vicky
me.
has a big comment.
It was just I scrunch up my nose as I think back to her response and repeat in snarky tone, you'll understand when you have your own kids, blah, 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 blah. I just felt it was odd because I know you're repeating the first line out of the book, but there wasn't any actual context for the line in the first place, which I think is what you've just said, Jenna, yeah?
Yeah.
So what will she understand? From the original line, I thought there would be some explanation, but we never got one.
No.
You mean she'll only understand a mother's worry? If so, you need to comment along those lines from the mum, just to anchor because it was a great first line. It really was. And then you come back to it, and I'm like, well, what happened?
No, I cut it off because I didn't like it. So
I would full on be in that comment. I would full on be in that.
It needs to be there.
And have that be there and have the argument be there. That's what I would do myself because I feel like it is a good.
And you're linking back to the start of the book, which is great. So I like that. But it slightly felt odd.
Jarring.
All right. So moving on. Phew. Well, we didn't quite get to all Heather's work today. Sometimes our sessions can get quite in depth. So we've created a part 2. We hope you'll join us. Thanks for joining today's session of Kissing Books Critique. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more work to dissect, discuss, and giggle over. In the meantime, subscribe now to never miss an episode and follow us on Facebook at Kissing Books Critique. And remember, stay connected and keep writing.